Have a seat, won't you?
Coraline is one of those rare movies that's a perfect blend of charm and spookiness. With such dark characters, today we're ranking Coraline characters from good to evil. First up, it's the good tier. These characters are the most virtuous around the Pink Palace Apartments in Ashland, Oregon. Taking the gold medal is a member of the Other World, surprisingly, the Other YB. He was created by the Other Mother to be the perfect boyfriend for Coraline to entice her to stay forever in the Other World. However, it turns out that making the ideal boyfriend made it so that he loved and treasured Coraline above anything else, including his safety. Seeing his beloved Coraline trapped and knowing her fate if she were to stay any longer, he willingly helps her escape to the real world. However, because of this, he knows that he's practically dead, as the Other Mother is going to kill him and he can't escape to the real world. Sure enough, his clothes are used as a flag the next time to get under Coraline's skin during the timed game. This level of sacrifice for someone you were made to love is definitely worthy of the Lust medal, but in the nicest way possible. While we're not discounting the heroic works of others here, willingly helping someone escape knowing you're going to die just because you love them that much really can't go unstated. Rest in peace, Other YB. Or I guess pieces. Too soon? I'm sorry. For someone with the living world, we have the silver medal winner, Mrs. Lovat. This girl and her grandson are original to the film. As the landlady of the Pink Palace Apartments, she spent her years watching over the place trying to ensure no kids are placed in there. For most of the film, we exclusively hear about her from YB, with him telling about how she thought her sister was whisked to another world.
He says she was stolen.
Of course, with how the film shows, she was right. After losing her sister, she started doing everything in her power to stop the Beldam by splitting up the Pink Palace Apartments and ensuring that no kids could come in to starve her out. The only problem is that she accidentally allowed Coraline to move in, but thanks to Coraline's efforts, the Beldam ended up finally dying out, and now her sister's soul is finally at peace, and thus, she is at peace. The only thing that puts Mrs. Lovat below Other YB is that she didn't flat out die for Coraline. She's not number one only because, well, someone had to be number two, and despite everything she tried to do, she didn't personally come out to help Coraline, unlike her grandson. Still, she did her best to ensure that no one else suffered like she did. The bronze medal of good belongs to the other good guy, the Other Father. He's first introduced as the number two to the Other Mother. He seemingly wants Coraline to stay with them in the other world, but he's mostly passive. Sure, he sings a song about his pal, Coraline, but take a close listen to the lyrics, with lines about how Coraline is a doll, cute as a button in the eyes of others, and how the piano plays him. He's trying to get her to leave without directly saying it. This is shown even more by how the Other Mother is shown to be in control of the situation when Coraline starts trying to escape the other world. It's clear that he truly does love Coraline, but can't rebel without dying. Yet even when possessed by the Other Mother to attack Coraline, Other Father apologizes to Coraline and gives her the first of the ghost kids' eyes before falling into a pond, even if it means he will die. He's a bit too scared of the Other Mother to have saved Coraline in the first place, but we really can't discredit his sacrifice, so he earns a spot this high up. Being able to come and go as he pleases, we have the Cat. Introduced as YB's cat, he's constantly seen observing and watching over Coraline, especially as she starts to indulge in the other world more and more. In the other world, he can talk to and warn Coraline about the dangers the other world has.
After all, I'm just a big fat wuss-puss.
Sure, he may be sassy, but he's always there to help guide Coraline, even when she's going back there to save her parents and the ghost kids. He may say how superior his skills and senses are to Coraline's, but when he can find Coraline's parents in the snow globe and can snatch up the rat running off with the last ghost eye, he certainly has the accomplishments to back up that talk. He still does get the Pride Medal for this, but at least he practices what he preaches. He may be a bit angry at her for the toss towards Other Mother, but honestly, we can't blame him. Still, he not only forgave Coraline, but was also able to help get YB to her location to have him help stop the hand from dragging Coraline back to the other world. Overall, he's a snarky kitty who regardless has your best interests at heart. For the next resident of the apartments, we have the amazing Sergei Alexander Bobinsky. Mr. Bobo is a former circus performer who's called the crazy old man upstairs, so expectations for him are already a bit low. His skin is blue because, according to him, he keeps eating beets. And despite all this, he's a pretty nice guy, warning Coraline about the other world, giving her the messages from the mice, and trying to ensure that she is strong by offering her beets to eat.
Here, have beet, make you strong.
Plus, notice that medal he's wearing. That's not any ordinary medal. That's given out to the people who were among those who responded to cleaning up in the Chernobyl nuclear power plant cleanup campaign. So yeah, he's honestly a swell guy, even if he is always bouncing all over the place with his exercise. Finally, we've got the main star of the movie, Caroline. Oh, sorry, we mean Coraline Jones. Fun fact, Caroline was originally going to be her name before Neil Gaiman accidentally wrote down Coraline. What an odd happenstance. Anyway, this girl just moved into the Pink Palace apartments and is not having a great time moving in. From her parents ignoring her to being all alone, she was the perfect target for the beldam. Despite initially being cornered by promises of the other world, once she realizes how twisted the beldam is, she's more than willing to save her parents and the trapped souls by freeing them and stopping the beldam for good. We really toyed with the idea of putting her up a bit higher, and we do understand her being annoyed and agitated with everyone around her since she lost her friends during the move and her parents are basically just ignoring her. On the other hand, yeah, her being dismissive to the other residents, calling Wybie "why were you born," and her building rage with the real world with her parents not helping or caring for her definitely dragged her down a bit with the wrath medal, and her just leaving the cat to the other mother's mercy didn't do her any favors. Granted, she did feel extremely guilty for the latter and apologized for it, but maybe a warning next time about what you were doing would be appreciated. She's still a good kid, she just was caught at a very stressful time. Right after her, we have Wyborn YB Lovat. We first get introduced to him looking like he's on some sort of spy mission and has a fascination with the weird banana slugs and whatever dead things the cat brings him. To his credit, he can be genuinely friendly with Coraline, bonding with her during their trip hunting for banana slugs. However, we do have to knock some points off for him running off and calling Coraline weird after realizing that she did go to the other world and that his grandmom was right. To be fair, he did come back to destroy the hand when it was trying to take Coraline back to the other world, so he does redeem himself a bit. He's just a kid who's more quirky in his approach to others than Coraline is, but yeah, those people skills do need some work. Next up, we have the Mouse Circus, if we can see them. This elusive group of vermin is a part of Mr. Bobo's act. That said, we never really could get to see them considering how they're always off-screen for some reason or another. However, they not only exist, but are fighting against the rats on their own time, even posting a message for Coraline, urging her to leave the door to that other world
Do not go through little door.
They even promise a special thank you performance after Coraline beats the beldam, so they're good, if they're even real. Like seriously guys, would it kill you to show up at least once? At least we don't need to worry about giving them any medals in any way. Finally, at the end of the good, from a group we never see to a group we only see in the later half, we have the Ghost Children. First, speaking with Coraline in the mirror room, they see her as another victim of the beldam. The three children end up agreeing to get their eyes all buttoned up and end up getting their lives eaten up by the beldam. Being trapped there after their mistakes, they see Coraline as their last chance to be freed and end up asking her to help free them. Despite looking like monsters due to dying in the other world and being stuck there, they just want to find rest. They weren't really able to help Coraline, but they did warn that she needed to get the key out of her life to keep the beldam away from the real world.
You're in terrible danger, girl.
It's not a lot, but they did die, so we can't really argue that they just want peace, and seeing how they did warn Coraline before truly moving on, they do deserve to be here on this side. Next up, we have the gray area. These characters here aren't necessarily bad, but they do have their own quirks that make them not true heroes. For the first two characters in this section, we have Miss April Spink and Miss Miriam Forcible. According to Neil Gaiman, these two are lesbian lovers, so good for them. To their credit, being in the gray area, yes, they are nice and welcoming to Coraline, even if they still act eccentric and bicker with each other. Speaking of acting, that's just what they were. Burlesque dancers who retired and are now just relaxing and taking care of their dogs. Despite their age and eccentricities, they're shown to still respect and care for Coraline. They even give her warnings about the door and also give her a stone to help her find the ghost eyes.
No, they're good for lost things.
That said, we're not letting these two into the good area because of just how many times they taxidermied their dogs. Yeah, they seem to be trying to respect them, but when their first reaction to seeing their dog sick is to dress them up as an angel instead of trying to actually get help, we are docking points for that. For our next duo, we have Coraline's parents, Charlie and Mel Jones. Aside from Charlie giving us the prime man at the computer meme image, they are writers for gardeners, with the two of them moving into the Pink Palace apartments. With a deadline looming and them both busy moving in, they both are focused on their work instead of Coraline. Now, fair, they do need money to finish their work, but still, it feels like they just see Coraline as an afterthought for most of the time. Yeah, Coraline is a bit bratty, but being so dismissive of her that even learning of a secret door leads to just an annoyed response isn't helping. If we had to choose, we would say that Charlie is better at this, being more reassuring than dismissive, unlike Mel always being in ignore my own child mode, yet he still does have some problems. Because of all this, they both share the sloth center medal, not because of their reluctance to work, but because they kept being ignorant to Coraline until the end. But credit is due, once their work is done, they realize they spent too long without Coraline and do want to make up for lost time. Even if they lost their memories from being kidnapped by the beldam, it's clear they still grew to respect Coraline, so we can't call them evil. evil. But guys, there are two of you. Maybe have one of you work while the other spends some time with Coraline, at least for an hour? It's not rocket science you're dealing with, it's garden science. Just escaping the bad to evil section, we have the other Mr. Bobo. We're aware this may be a bit controversial since he's still trying to get Coraline to stay in the other world. However, we can't call him purely evil.
Stay here, Vida.
Oh, sure, he's still trying to keep Coraline in the other world, but he seems more conflicted than the others. He doesn't help her, so he's not a good guy, as he's just trying to entertain and keep Coraline distracted in the other world. But he seems genuinely lost and befuddled as to why Coraline keeps trying to leave.
You don't get it, do you?
I don't understand.
Being created by the Beldam solely to entertain Coraline, he doesn't have any of the morality in his mind that other father or other Wybie have, so he genuinely is just at a loss for words about what's going on. And yeah, that moment where he accepts that he's just a pile of rats is quite concerning, to say the least. Maybe with more time he would have been able to grow and change as a person, but still, as he is now, he's more tragic than evil. Finally, we have 3 entries for bad to evil. These are the beasts of the other world that make the place a nightmare to escape from. For the bronze medal, rats. Rats! It's the rats. While the other mother is the giant rat that makes all of the rules, these rats still act to serve and assist her by helping her get Coraline through the door. They're also the ones that seemingly were in charge of the other Mr. Bobo, popping out of him at the end as Coraline gets closer and closer to escaping. Seeing as to how they're the reason Coraline found the pathway open in the first place, they're rather nasty, especially when you consider they are the other mother's workers. And given how the rats seem to be beefing with the circus mice, yeah, they do deserve a slot here. The 2 silver medal winners are the other Spink and other Forcible. In comparison to the other side versions of the other residents, these 2 don't have any excuses for their behaviors. Unlike other father who had to be possessed to try and hurt Coraline, and other Bobo who had no idea why Coraline would want to leave in the first place, other Spink and other Forcible both know Coraline wishes to desert the other world for good and get the eye to escape, and they don't want her to have it. They're much more traditionally against Coraline than the others that were more hesitant and willing to help her out more. Even when they're merged into some candy monster, they are both among the more proactive threats against Coraline and deserve to be ranked this low. But first, this video is brought to you by Wicked Binge channel memberships. You can gain access to our videos early before anyone else, plus gain access to members-only emojis and loyalty badges by supporting the channel through a membership. And surprise, surprise, the other mother, aka the Beldam, gets the gold medal of evil. No, not the transphobic Paper Mario The Thousand-Year Door remake Shadow Siren, but they're pretty close in terms of evil. This sinister siren creates dolls of kids in the Pink Palace apartments to spy on them and prey on their insecurities to lure them to the other world. Her goal is to force kids to stay there forever to eat their souls. Yeah, her diet consists of kids' souls, which easily earns her the Gluttony Sinner medal, and she gets more despicable. Her methods include willingly trying to cheat children out of their lives with games, abusing her workers as long as it gets her souls to eat, and even when Coraline leaves, resorting to kidnapping her parents to force her back in. Even when it looks like Coraline gets back her parents and frees the ghost children, the Beldam still attempts to force Coraline back to the other world with her detached hand. Even if she does need to do this for her survival, she's taken way too much pleasure in this. And regardless of her intentions, Other Mother earned her spot as the most vile character here. She gave everyone a visually impressive movie that pushes the boundary of stop-motion animation, but still, yikes.